Hi there, I'm Drew Badger, the world's #1 English fluency guide, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to this advanced listening practice lesson. Today, this marks lesson 400 or video 400 on our YouTube channel. So to all of our subscribers out there and all of the new people who come back and watch this after this has been out for a while, I want to say thank you very much for helping us grow and for helping me become a better teacher, because I continue to learn so much from you. And so in this video, I wanted to do something special. I might not be speaking as quickly as I normally do in these lessons because this is a really important topic and I want to make sure many people understand this. But since this is, again, our 400th video on the channel, I wanted to do something special. So this is a lesson for not only teachers, but also for learners and people that want to help their students or young children learn English as well. So this is not just for non-native speakers, but also for native speakers who are interested in learning the language or interested in helping their children learn the language. So what I'm going to do today is kind of help a rather large company, a very large company, actually improve the way they teach. Because I enjoy the company, I support the company, I like the company, but I'm also very disappointed with the company and know they can do better. So what we'll be talking about today is Disney, actually. And this is one of the pieces of their Disney English learning system, which is actually really ineffective, and I'll be talking about that specifically. And we're just going to focus on this poster. I'm not talking about their programs or anything like that because I haven't had a chance to review them. But from what I've seen from this, I'm not very excited about it. Anyway, we're going to look at this because my wife bought this for our daughter, and I don't mind having it in my home. I really enjoy the Disney characters. I grew up with them, growing up watching the movies, the cartoons when I was a kid. I don't really watch them so much anymore, but I really enjoy Disney, and it was something that I enjoyed, and it was a big part of my childhood. So I don't mind, again, having the characters. And it's interesting that my daughter is half American, half Japanese, but she tends to like Disney characters and American characters more than she enjoys something like Anpanman, which is a character from Japan. Anyway, we're going to get into this because, again, I like Disney, and I'm just really disappointed with what they're doing, but hopefully by showing them how they can improve that, not only can Disney improve, but lots of other people who are, buying things like this or trying to help other people learn, especially if you've been a subscriber and you've been learning with me and you want to help your kids learn, hopefully this will help you improve the way you do that. So this is a typical thing that companies do when they don't have English learning or English teaching as a focus of their business. And Disney is a perfect example of that. Disney is not an English teaching company, but they're using their characters in order to facilitate English learning, because learning English is a huge business. It's a huge market. Billions of people around the world are learning the language. So I don't blame them. I respect them for trying to get into the market, but I'll explain why in this video they should know better than to do what they're doing with something like this. So this is actually a really cool poster. I really like the idea of this. So this is part of their, this is the top half and then the bottom half of an alphabet poster that you can actually put up in your bathroom or put up in your next to your bathtub, so that when you have your child in there, you can have this on the wall and you can practice your alphabet. But the problem with learning with something like this is that it does a really, really awful job. It's really confusing, actually, from the perspective of a child that's trying to learn English. Now, if you think about how the brain works when you're just starting to learn a new language, and you can think about this as an adult, we'll come back to the poster in just a minute, but when you're thinking about learning a new language, one of the most difficult things about learning a new language from the kind of typical traditional English language learning way of teaching is that people teach too much information at the same time. Now, a phrase like "my name is Drew" may be very simple in an everyday sense to a native speaker, but to a non-native speaker, you're teaching them actually many different things at the same time. You're teaching them what a vowel is, what a verb is, or what a noun is, or what a consonant, other things like that for the actual sounds of the letters and the names of the words or the kinds of words they are. You're also teaching sentence structure and the way sentences and questions are asked and answered. There are many different things you're teaching at the same time, and this is why most people hate learning languages, because from the very first contact they have with a different language, it's already incredibly difficult. And there's no reason why a language needs to be like this, but that's exactly what this poster is doing. So let's just take a look at some of these letters on here, and without, the help of actual letters, if you didn't know what the letters on this alphabet were, imagine you're looking at this from the perspective of a child that doesn't know the alphabet. Maybe you know the characters of these things, but you don't know the alphabet, and you don't know what the word is that's being taught. Now, looking at something like this, we can start up here, A for apple, and that's fairly easy to understand. There's nothing Disney about that. They've got a small worm in that doesn't really need to be there. I understand why they put it there to make it a bit more interesting, but you can see the small apple in the worm there. And then the word here that you're focusing on is apple. So they're trying to teach a specific word connected with a letter of the alphabet. A and apple. That makes perfect sense. But if we go down to E and I here, we run into a really big problem. So here we've got one of the, I don't know which character this is Huey, Dewey, or Louie, some of the characters from DuckTales. Now, he is eating a sandwich, and then Goofy down here is eating ice cream. Now, there's two characters doing the exact same action, but one word up here is the word eat, and the one word down here is the word ice cream. Now, as a native speaker looking at this is really obvious. Oh, okay, so the word is ice cream, and the word here is eat. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of a non-native speaker or a child or someone that just doesn't understand the language at all, this doesn't make any sense to you at all. If I remove the letter of the alphabet and I remove the word and I just show you the picture and say, what is this? You have no idea what I'm asking about. You don't know if I'm talking about the character, the color of something, the sandwich itself, the action that's happening. You don't know any of this information because I'm just showing you a picture. And again, that's what happens. This is the perspective that children looking at this are coming from. So they have no idea what this is saying, and the brain is trying to figure out what the difference between these two things is. And there isn't one. It's really impossible to know exactly what's being talked about because it's two characters. You've got two different characters both eating something, and one thing is a sandwich and one thing is an ice cream. But if I were to give you a test on this and say, give me one letter or one word that corresponds with this, you wouldn't be able to answer that. So, and this is just one example of these things. We can cover some more. So another one that's like kind of okay here, we've got fish for the letter F here. So we've got F for fish. But we've also got like a fishing lure over here. So we've got fish, but also this more looks like fishing than fish. Again, if you want to make something nice and clear, you have to keep it really simple. Another one, let's see, we'll look at, this is one of my favorites as far as really bad things on this poster. So this is the letter G, and we've got, if I can show you here, we've got Mickey and Minnie, and the word is glasses. I can't believe it. The word is actually glasses, and that's the tiniest thing on this whole picture. And they expect children to look at that and understand what glasses are just by looking at this whole picture. Now, a native speaker might understand something like this, but this is actually designed. You can see the Japanese right here that says like ofurode, which just means you can use this in your bath. So this is Disney's English learning system, as it says, but again, this is for non-native speakers sold in Japan to Japanese learners, and like it's confusing them. You're confusing them. You're beginning with the characters that you want to help brand first, and you're going with the English second. And this is really a really bad long-term strategy for helping people learn. Again, like you're getting the characters out there. The whole point that people want to get into teach English, again, there's a lot of money in it, but also that people want to actually brand their characters so that when really young children are looking at them, wow, like my child enjoys Mickey Mouse from like they're 30 days old or something like that. So that way they're learning to get into the Disney family or the Disney company, and then they can be marketed to throughout their entire life. Now that makes perfect sense, but why not actually do it properly and actually explain to people and make it, kind of basic and easy to understand what's happening here. Now, I'll show you another one, and I'll let you try to guess what the word is, because, again, this is really hilarious what they're doing. So I'm going to cover up the letter and the word, and I'll just show you this one right here. So we got here in the middle here, you can see Minnie Mouse holding a candle. Now, just take a minute and guess what you think the letter of that and the word might be. So, again, it could be, Minnie Mouse, maybe it's M, or it could be like candle, it could be the letter C, it could be something else. Guess what the letter is? L, and the word is light. I can't believe this. Look at this. So when you have a word like this that says light, and again, we're talking about like why would you even use candle for the word light? I mean, light can be emitting from something like that, but this does a really, really bad job of explaining to a young child, especially a young Japanese child, and it's even worse because maybe their parent doesn't know what the actual English word is. So lots of Japanese parents buy these things for their kids and they have no idea what they're actually showing to them, and why it's even from a very early age making English a stressful thing for their children instead of a nice, easy one. Now, again, there's lots of things on here. We've got Daisy over here driving a car, so we've got D for that, but most children would be looking at things typically as a noun. When we teach things to young children, we begin with nouns because it's easier to demonstrate like that, especially when we have a static image. So probably C for car would be something better for that, but again, like it's moving and we're trying to figure out what's happening. Or we've got we've got Chip and Dale here for H. For hot dog, again, like, why would they even do that? I mean, you can't really tell what they're talking about. Yeah, I mean, are they eating something? Again, it's yet another picture of characters eating something, but are we talking about the verb to eat? Are we talking about the food they're eating? Or are we talking about sharing something? There could be lots of different things associated with that, and you have to make it clear for a non-native speaker or someone that's trying to learn the language what exactly it is you're talking about. And so that's why when we're designing Scroll Phonics, this other app we've created that helps learners improve and uses lots of icons like this, they're all silhouettes. So a silhouette is something where it just has like the dark outline of something. It's just all black, and you can see, like if the word we want people to remember is can, we have just a picture of a can. There's no clown holding the can. There's no Disney character flipping the can up in the air. It's just the can by itself. So even if you don't know what the word is, it's immediately understandable so that you don't have to think about anything. This poster is terrible because it makes you think, and it's confusing learners. Now, I don't want to just pick on Disney or other companies like this that are trying to cash in on being able to sell English lessons or getting to the English market. And this is a great word, to cash in on something, a phrasal verb that you can use when you want to talk about, wow, there's a lot of money in something, so we want to make some of that money. We want to cash in. So by selling something or producing something that can earn us a lot of money, to cash in on something. So I don't want to just do this, but because I love Disney, I actually want to prove that they do know what they're doing. And so I brought along another book. This is one of my favorite books actually about learning animation and drawing. And this is called The Illusion of Life. Now this is it's an actually enormous book. It's like a dictionary almost, but it's filled with tons of pictures about how to draw. And I can't really show everything in this book, but I just wanted to show one particular thing here. I'll take a picture of it and I'll put it up on the screen for you. But right here in the book, this is, it's a famous half-filled sack of flour. Again, I don't want to just show it in the book because it's not really quite clear, but I'll put up a picture of it here on the screen so you can see it. But this is a half-filled sack of flour, and what the animators are demonstrating with this is that even a simple object, you can communicate different emotions or different states just by making it move in different ways. And this is, you can see kind of better examples of this if you're watching the movie Aladdin, which I spoke about in a couple of videos ago, and you can see that it's just a carpet, a rug, but they're using the same principles of this sack of flour and showing how you can animate something, even something as simple as a rug that doesn't have a mouth or eyebrows or eyes that can show lots of facial expressions, but the rug itself is very animated. So the rug itself can move around. So Disney can actually do a really good job. You know, they literally wrote the book on how to improve animation and how to show things and how to demonstrate like one action rather than another one. Now, this is such an important thing in Disney movies that they spend lots and lots of time. They hire the best people, the best animators to draw things to make sure they're exactly right, that they're communicating the right emotion for the right scene. But when they do something like this, they're just being lazy about it. And it makes me really angry because it frustrates a lot of learners. I mean, it makes a lot of, I guess, business for me because they're kind of creating all these bad learners that are learning the traditional way that get really frustrated, and they start looking for someone like me that can actually fix the problems that things like this create. Anyway, I don't really like earning customers like that, or earning clients, or earning students. I'd rather just Disney actually produce something that they can be proud of, that actually really takes the time to create something that can be helpful. So what Disney could do in a case like this is, there's actually lots of different ways. I'll just talk about two of them. But for example, they could do the silhouette, where they take a silhouette of Disney's Mickey Mouse, or, a different character like Winnie the Pooh. So they've got, Winnie the Pooh on this one. Look at this. B is bend down. Are you kidding me? Bend down. No child would look at this. Even a native speaker that's 2 years old would look at this and think bend down. They would say Winnie the Pooh, and they would wonder why B is connected with the word Winnie the Pooh, or anything like that. So again, it doesn't make any sense even for a native speaker. But if you try to keep things simple by just having a silhouette of Mickey Mouse doing something for a particular thing, or you have a silhouette of a particular Disney character, whatever that thing is, but you can actually try to make it a bit more interesting for learners to figure out what you're talking about. But you don't make it too difficult and stressful. It should be fun to look at, but you can also make it look nice and tasteful. The other thing that you could do, actually, if I were Disney and I were creating this poster, I would probably do it all with Mickey Mouse. So there's one thing that's the same, just like that, the bags of flour, and you can see the differences in the way they're communicating. It's the same thing, communicating different ideas with each pose. And so with Mickey Mouse, you do the same thing. But maybe I would do it, he's like teaching actions that have to correspond with each letter, something like that. So maybe R would be run, and Mickey Mouse is running. And like J would be jump, so Mickey Mouse is jumping. So it's the same character doing all these things, and when the human mind looks at that, they can relax and say, okay, like we know the same thing as Mickey Mouse for all of these. What's the only thing that's different? What's the thing that's unique about this picture? Mickey Mouse is jumping in this picture rather than eating, or rather than drinking, or rather than doing something else. So this is actually how you make a real learning system where people can look at something and it's immediately obvious. If you don't have someone that's a native English speaker to, go through and explain to you, okay, the word here is not, it says light, but it's a candle that they're talking about, then you have a lot of people that are really getting frustrated. And again, it all begins with taking the time to do what you do well, but in this way as well when you're going to teach English. So don't be lazy about it when you actually teach. It's really disappointing to see a company that you care about that does, really good things in one way, but just because they're trying to make money doing something else, they get lazy about it. And again, English is not their focus. So, hey, you guys can give me a call and I can help you out with this. But again, when you're any kind of company, whether you're working for Disney or you don't work for Disney, maybe Disney will never see this at all. But think about this when you're actually teaching your kids. You should be looking for things, as a parent, not just like, hey, does it have really cute characters on it? Is it actually going to be helpful for my child? So again, this is why we think we have over, 2,000 icons for words in Scrollphonics, which we'll be releasing very soon. And each one of them, even for really difficult words, it's a very clear icon, or it's a little animation that you can see, and it's just a stick figure or something where it's a silhouette of something that makes it really easy to understand. So that's what really gets students excited about learning. Maybe tiny children might care about having Mickey Mouse and something, but a junior high school student, if the language is tricky, will not care, and they will actually end up developing a negative association between Disney and, whatever it is the English learning thing is, because it becomes difficult. Now, if you can associate Disney with actually helping people learn, then you've got really something amazing on your hands, something that people talk about. But I rarely ever hear people that, talk about spending lots of money on these Disney programs and actually having it be helpful. Of course, they have a lot of marketing money, so they can make commercials and help promote something like that. But it's really easy to teach well. So why not just do that? Anyway, hopefully this has been a helpful video for you when you're thinking about things like this, especially for my subscribers out there that have their own children, or maybe they're teachers and they want to help their students learn. Think about these things when you're actually teaching. If you have flashcards or something where you're trying to educate little kids and you have something that has more than one element in it, you have to get rid of that thing. You have to stop using that and start using something that actually has a really one-to-one correspondence of what you're teaching and what is supposed to be the object of the learning there. So again, it's the same thing. If you have a sandwich and you have somebody eating here, but if you have an ice cream and somebody eating here, but you're talking about the noun here and the verb down here, it doesn't make any sense. So always be thinking about this, whether you're learning by yourself, you want to figure out what's the best way to learn for you such that things can be nice and easy and clear, and you're making it easy for your brain to learn. The traditional way of learning is not going to help you do that because it's giving you too much information, it's too confusing, and well, you get lazy and you start getting things like this. Anyway, Disney, if you are listening, take your time. You guys know what you're doing. You guys actually produce really great things and have taught me a lot about how to teach actually through the kinds of lessons that you teach through animation. So you know what you're doing. You're one of the best in the world at it. So don't be lazy about it. Actually do a good job and help some people learn English. Well, that's it for this lesson. If you have liked it, do click that like button. Do share this video. Again, this is video 400, and I'm really excited that we've reached this number, having come a long way in the years that we've been teaching here on YouTube, and I look forward to many more. Do share this video, put this on Twitter, and say, hey, Disney, you should really listen to this video, because it's actually a really simple fix to do a better job teaching and to actually make way more money doing what you're doing. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson video. Bye-bye. To continue learning, click on the link in this video to download Speak English Naturally, our free guide to speaking and sounding like a native English speaker. The guide reveals the 3 most important kinds of conversational English you must learn if you want to sound native, and will help you experience instant improvement in your fluency and speaking confidence. To download your free guide on a mobile device, click on the link in the upper right of this video. To download your free guide from a computer, click on the link in the lower right of this video. I look forward to seeing you in the guide.